The kidnapping of 9-year-old George Weyerhaeuser on May 24, 1935, in Tacoma, Washington, was one of the most sensational crimes in the Northwest, drawing national attention and leading to a dramatic manhunt. Here's a detailed account of the event. George Weyerhaeuser, the son of prominent lumberman J.P. Weyerhaeuser, was walking home from Lowell School when he was abducted. Although school was dismissed early for lunch, George followed his usual routine of visiting the Wright Seminary to meet his sister and, before being driven home by the family chauffeur. Arriving 10 to 15 minutes early, he decided to walk home instead of waiting. Along the way, near the Tacoma Lawn Tennis Club, two men in a green 1927 Buick sedan stopped him. One man posing as a stranded motorist asked for directions, then suddenly grabbed George and forced him into the car. The kidnappers later drove George to a remote location where they held him for ransom. After realizing George was missing, the Weyerhaeuser family searched for him and contacted the police. That evening, a special delivery letter arrived, demanding $200,000, equivalent to about $4 million today, in unmarked $20, $10, and $5 bills. The note was addressed to whom it may concern, and George's signature was forged on the back of the envelope to authenticate the demand. The FBI was soon involved, and the family followed the kidnappers' instructions, including placing a coded ad in the Seattle Post-Intelligencer to signal their willingness to cooperate. John Philip Weyerhaeuser Jr. paid the ransom, and George was released unharmed in rural Issaquah on June 1, 1935, 2-8. This triggered the greatest manhunt in the history of the Northwest, involving federal, state, and local law enforcement, 2-8. Within days, Harmon Waley, 23, and his wife, Margaret Eldora Thulin, 19, were arrested in Salt Lake City while attempting to spend the marked ransom money. They confessed and identified William Dainard, 33, as the mastermind behind the kidnapping. Dainard was eventually captured in San Francisco in May 1936 and sentenced to 60 years in prison. A fourth suspect, Edward Fliss, was arrested later for helping launder the ransom money and received a 10-year sentence. All four kidnappers were convicted, with sentences totaling 135 years. George Weyerhaeuser, who remembered the ordeal vividly despite his young age, later became the chairman of the Weyerhaeuser Timber Company. His parents shielded him from media attention, wanting to minimize the trauma of the kidnapping. The case remains a notable example of the FBI's early involvement in high-profile kidnappings, following the Lindbergh baby kidnapping trend of the era.